How should we characterize the first 7 weeks of the Trump administration? Because we get so much information and misinformation, and they call it the MAGA revolution. It's not a revolution. It is a counter-revolution. There's a big difference.
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America.
Almost a day doesn't go by where the Wall Street Journal is predicting that we are headed for a recession, that our allies are furious at us, that the economy is on the brink. So what are we going to make of all this? This is a restoration. Let's use the word Trump restoration. We don't really appreciate what we've been through with 8 years of the Obama revolution and the 4-year more radical third term of Obama, using or employing the waxen effigy of Joe Biden. A revolution that we've experienced was a cultural, economic, political, social evolution.
Our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
I think it's time to take a deep breath and envision the first 7 weeks as something like the following. Trump is in a race. He's in a race to enact fundamental disruptive change, a counter-revolution. And it's going to be rough for a while, as he pointed out. But the things that he has already done are going to have shortly, or maybe even midterm, fundamental advantages for the United States.
Victor Davis Hanson boldly labels it a counter-revolution, a glorious restoration, a triumphant return to the bedrock of common sense that America desperately craves. And he's right. What we're witnessing with Trump isn't some tired rehash of revolution dressed in new clothes. It's a defiant stand against the radical excesses of the Obama years, a reclamation of what made this nation great. Hanson sees Trump not just tweaking the dial back to normal, but igniting a powerful transformative force, a red-blooded, unapologetic shift that's flipping the script in the right direction. This isn't mere reversal, it's a roaring resurgence.
Donald Trump came in, and it was not sufficient to say we're going to stop the madness of $37 billion. We're going to stop the madness of being short 40 or 50,000 military recruits because of this DI. We're going to stop the appeasement of China. But that wasn't all. He said the government is broke. We're going to go through all of these agencies. And finally, for the first time in the history of this country, when somebody says they're going to cut federal spending and drain the swamp or cut the administration, we're going to do it. And there's going to be no changing names except to go back to traditional names. And we're not going to topple statues. And if you break the law and you're on campus and you're on a student visa, you're going to go back home.
I look at the Democrats in front of me and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do.
So we're in the midst of a counter-revolution. It's not revolutionary. You know what it is? It's a return to normalcy. It's a return to common sense. It only looks revolutionary to revolutionaries. But to the rest of the people, it is a counter-revolution to restore normalcy and bring the country from the far left fringes back home again. The question is, can he message, explicate, and explain what he's doing so people hang on? Because the eventual reward will be great. Now, what do I mean? We're talking about tariffs, but even the mere mention of tariffs for all of these countries that have not been reciprocal, the idea that we might return to parity, it's had an enormous effect. Some $4 trillion of announced investment from the Europeans, from the Saudis, from the Chinese, from the Mexican government, from the Canadians even. That will create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and that is in the process of working out. When Donald Trump entered office in 2017, we were only pumping about 9 million barrels. When he left, we were pumping 12 million. The Biden administration immediately cut back, and then it decided before the midterms, hey, Americans like affordable oil. So then they continued the Trump plan and got up to 12 or almost 13 million barrels. Already in just 7 weeks, we have increased the amount of oil produced per day in the United States by about a third of a million barrels, and we're on schedule to get up to about 14 million barrels by the beginning of the year, and that is coordinated with a increase in Middle East production as well. So we're going to see a moderation of energy prices, which may explain already why the inflation rate was not nearly as high as was predicted. If we look at the border, it's amazing. We were told that the border problem was insolvable without comprehensive immigration reform. And there were 10,000 people swarming it per day. We don't even, nonchalantly, nobody talks about it anymore. But it's a revolutionary achievement. There's nobody going across the border illegally, or at least it's statistically insignificant.
Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
The big issue right now is the left is cherry-picking judges to prevent not the deportation of somebody who's working, who's never been arrested, who's been here for 5 or 6 years, but criminals and people who already have been ordered out of the country. What we're doing now is phase 2. The border is essentially solved as far as security in 7 weeks. Now we're having the difficult task of trying to find out who these 12 million people were that Biden deliberately and with intent, malicious intent, allowed to come into the country. This is an incredible success.
Maybe the real revolution isn't about policy details. It's about the headspace Trump's tapped into. His movement feeds on defiance, on sticking it to the establishment, on shaking up a system that's felt stagnant to plenty of people. But here's the catch. If disruption just becomes business as usual, does it still count as revolutionary? When a counter-revolution takes over completely, doesn't it just turn into the new normal? Same game, different players?
There's a final point that I want to make. We hear about Elon Musk is not authentically American, he's a Nepo baby.
It's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left.
Have you noticed, everyone, that the crescendo of hatred toward Elon Musk is becoming surreal?
Unelected, self-dealing, multi-billionaire who has made his vast fortune off huge government contracts should not be able to buy access to the U.S. Treasury.
He's a naturalized citizen. And we hear Jasmine Crockett threatening his person along with threatening Ted Cruz.
You have this Congresswoman Crockett who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday, and yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official, and so she needs to tread very carefully.
All of this chaos and nihilism coming about Elon Musk and what he's doing, but what he's finding out almost every day in the Treasury, in the IRS, in the Department of Energy, in the intelligence communities is a vast, unreported siphoning off of hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions.
And I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it, perhaps, which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this.
He thinks he can cut $1 trillion without touching entitlements. I don't know if he can, but let me just sum up. If Donald Trump is able to fulfill this promise of commitment by foreign entities of $4 trillion in investment, if he is able to cut $1 trillion within a year or two, if he is able to solve the Ukraine war, and if he is able to have a general peace in the Middle East, that will be the most substantial presidency, if he does nothing else, that we've seen in 50 years. Final word, Everybody keep calm. There's events in process that if they are brought to fulfillment and fruition, this country will be a radically different and radically better place.
And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve.
So here we are, standing at the edge of something undeniable, a counter-revolution, a restoration, or just the next inevitable swing in the battle for America's soul. The question isn't just whether Trump can deliver on his vision. It's whether the country is ready to embrace it, fight for it, and hold the line when the resistance comes. Because make no mistake, it will come. The real test isn't what happens in the first weeks, but what survives the years ahead. Will this be the moment that reshapes history, or just another fleeting rebellion, crushed under the weight of the old order? That answer isn't up to Trump alone. It's up to all of us.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.